Hoezo is hij niet op?
Je laptop. Hij doet het nog, maar hij is zo traag. Hoog tijd voor een nieuwe dus. Alleen, welke wordt het?
You should be using to become a more consistent player in stack competitive lobbies. And while this video is mostly, meant for competitive, be sure to stick around, guys, no matter who you are, because these tips can really help you out as well, even if you're a casual player. Speaking of competitive gameplay, if you've ever wanted to learn what the pros do to get so good, then you should be looking no further than ProGuides.com. On our website, we've got pro coaches who can help you with everything that you'll need to reach the top level in Fortnite. So be sure to check it out ASAP. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, Bunch Your Crunch Army, it's time to sit back, relax, and grab some of my favorite candy. What is it, y'all? It's that Bunch Your Crunch, and let's get this going. The first aspect of being consistent in Fortnite is figuring out when and how you're going to play aggressive. Too many players think that being consistent in Fortnite requires you just to play passive and just get placement points. But really, guys, it's the opposite. At the highest level of competitive, kills are pretty much completely necessary, and you usually won't have the loot, materials or healing items you need while going into in-game unless you have a certain level of aggression. So the level of aggression that you want to play at really depends on a number of factors, right? But a few that I want you guys to keep in mind include your loot, materials, the amount of healing items you're carrying, and your position on the map. Obviously, if the zone is super far or you don't have enough healing items, don't have enough materials or anything like that, your goal should be to fix your situation before you fight. Otherwise, it really just depends on your overall strategy and whether you want to emphasize kills or go for a placement-based route, whether that is, either way, having a set aggression strategy and figuring out, when you're willing to fight, it's going to benefit you guys tremendously when it comes to consistency in competitive lobbies, okay? When it comes to getting consistent placement points in competitive, one of the most critical aspects is your mid-game rotations, guys. Simply put, you could have the perfectly sculpted early game, everything can be amazing, but if you don't know how to rotate and actually make it into the end game, then placement points are not going to be your strong suit. So one massive aspect of mid-game rotations is rotating to the dead side of zone. This is the concept a lot more players have been picking up on lately when it comes to competitive, and it's really worth noting. Okay, so essentially, dead side rotations are just rotations toward the side of zone players they're not on. This typically means the side that is closest to the ocean. So on the dead side, you're going to be contested by less players, which means less fighting, less wasted materials, potentially better loot if you find some unlooted spots, and easier rotations to top it all off. So practicing your dead side rotation simply comes down to learning the patterns of how players typically rotate and working around them. Most players are usually going to white line to zone, which basically means running straight to zone on the white line of their minimap to get there really, really fast. So if a zone pulls all the way towards, say, south towards Misty Meadows, then the north side of this zone is going to be super congested. Meanwhile, almost nobody's rotating to or around the Misty area or even south of that. So overall, it'll just make your game so much easier to learn the dead side, okay? Now, Storm Surge definitely isn't the type of issue most of you guys are dealing with at the moment, but when it comes to the high level of competitive, you're going to be much better off in the long run if you can learn it early and not have to stress over your Storm Surge strategy if you ever play in a big tournament lobby. If you don't know already, alright, Storm Surge is basically a mechanic Epic introduced to Fortnite to counter players sitting in boxes all game. Obviously, if there are 80 players in the 7th zone, then that just results in a complete disaster of lag, confusion, and pain. Storm Surge has 3 phases, which, go off during the 3rd, 5th, and 7th zones. Each time Storm Surge is gonna pop, you're gonna see a Storm Surge warning appear a zone before, so you know if your total damage is high enough. So if the 3rd zone Storm Surge is possible, then you're gonna know during the 2nd zone. So basically, if you haven't dealt enough damage to other players, then Storm Surge hits you. If you ever get a warning for Storm Surge and you're below the needed number, you're gonna get some tags quick. Storm Surge will deactivate when the player count hits an acceptable level, which includes the following, alright? 3rd zone, 70 players. 5th zone, 50 players. 7th zone, 30 players. If Storm Surge is hitting a player, then there's gonna be a giant beam that shoots them from above every 5 seconds, which deals a constant damage of 25 per hit. And once they get above the threshold, it's gonna stop on its own. So what this means is that you'll need to develop a strategy for Storm Surge if you ever plan on running into it. Obviously, I can't make, the exact plan for you here since, we all have different strategies, but a few options you might want to consider for your Storm Surge strategy includes these, all right? Basing up on elevation to shoot at surrounding players, carrying a sniper, scoped AR, or another long-range item for tags, taking 1 or 2 early to mid-game fights. Overall, guys, Storm Surge can be a real killer in stack games, but these tips should help you guys a lot in avoiding it. So another big aspect when it comes to competitive is your ability to save on materials. Raise your hand, guys, if you had an amazing game, then out of nowhere, you have 0 materials. That's probably a lot of us, right? So conserving your materials is absolutely critical and competitive. Learning to save your materials in the long run, it's gonna help you guys improve dramatically. So there are a few methods that really work tremendously for material conservation. So be sure to implement these into your strategy, all right? Using low material tarps, tunnels, and in-game, so strong. Basing up on or near sources of materials like, rocks, trees, etc. Taking excess loot from other players, harpoon, fishing rod strat, getting impact frags to refresh materials. So if you start using those 4 strategies, or at least 2 or 3 of them, your materials should stay in so much better shape, and in turn your mid and end game should go much smoother. All right, finally, my friends, the last thing that we're going to be covering is your overall strategy. So having a consistent strategy going into every single competitive game would be the main thing that separates you from the average player. If you follow the same loot route, similar rotations, and play out each game in a consistent way, you're going to be able to refine your exact strategy and in turn, play more consistent. So what we recommend doing is this, guys, VOD reviewing on a consistent basis and having a zone-by-zone layout of what exactly you're going to be doing. And that way, you know what you're doing in every game, and you could just adjust and tweak your strategy to perform better and better as time goes on. All right, so speaking of vibe reviewing, guys, don't forget that
What's going on, guys? This is not your ordinary guy. No, this is your motivation guy. That's right, your friend, the one and only Keith Allen. Pro players aren't always the most consistent, but if there's one elite
your motivation guy is
Hey, what's up guys? Revenge here, back with another competitive Fortnite video. This time I'll be talking about how you can get yourself invested in the competitive scene of Fortnite, how you can kind of follow a path and get yourself up there and improve your overall Fortnite gameplay. There's a lot of different ways you can get yourself out there in the Fortnite competitive scene, but I'll just be listing kind of a generic path that a lot of people maybe already know about, but I'll just be going in a little bit more detail on how you yourself can get yourself in there in the competitive scene. And just a disclaimer, I am by no means a pro player in Fortnite. In fact, I'm probably slightly above average.
Yo, what is going on guys, it's New7, and in this video today we're going to be going through 5 ways you can become a pro.
What's up guys, it's Kamal here. I'm going to show you guys what it takes to become a pro. Any other game out there, and especially being in Fortnite, being one of the most mechanical, skilled games ever, is going to be even harder to become a Fortnite pro. But I'm here to tell you guys that it isn't impossible, especially if you're passionate about it. Now before I even start, I already know I'm going to get comments like, how are you going to tell us to be a pro and you're not even a pro? But in fact, I have 1,000 hours in Roblox. I'm trolling. But on a real note, I've watched a lot of pro players on Twitch and YouTube, and also I've watched a lot of good players that became pros, and I understand exactly what it takes to become a pro. Now,
Fortnite competitive is, without a doubt, one of the most exciting aspects of the game right now. With millions of dollars on the
Yo, what's up guys, it's Scorch, and today I'm going to be making a different type of video. Today I'm going to be teaching all of you guys how to piece control. Now before I get into the video, for all of you guys who don't know what piece control is where you control all of the builds around you and your enemy in a fight, to where your enemy has nowhere to go, and you can get the quick, easy kill on them. Whether it's simple piece control like this,
About to see a shootout. Why do I start lagging whenever somebody...
or complex piece control like this. Here's an example of me controlling all of the builds around me and my enemy in a fight. So right here I edit the wall, hit him with a little pump shot, and as he backs away to try and box up and heal, I edit out of the box, take his wall so he cannot place his own, and put all of my own buildings around him so he has nowhere to go, and all I have to do in this situation is aim my gun at him and kill him. The first thing that you need to learn how to do to become a good piece controller is to learn how to and when to build different types of buildings in certain situations. A good way to practice your own piece control is by using this creative map by Raider464 and just free building like I am in this clip to improve your piece controlling mechanics. Here's an example of me knowing when to build in certain situations. So right here I instantly place the wall so the enemy that I'm fighting doesn't get it, and I only place the double cones in the wall behind my enemy, so the only option my enemy has to get out of the box is to run to the right or the left of him. Now since the wall on the left side is blocked off and the right side isn't, it tells me that there's a higher chance that my enemy is going to run to the right side than the left, because there's an easier route for him to not get edited on and punished quicker. So what I do is I predict where my enemy is going to by placing the first wall in front of me, and then proceeding to place my cones and walls all around the box so my enemy has nowhere to go, and then aim my shotgun at him and kill him before he knows what is going on and shoots me first. Second tip I have for you guys when knowing how to piece control is knowing when to build, knowing how to not overdo it, and knowing when to shoot your gun. A lot of not so skillful players while playing in competitive game modes like to just wait for you to edit on them so they can get the first shot off. What you want to do in this situation, instead of editing on them and trying to take all the builds around them, is try to build up and get chip damage on him, or try to right hand peek and punish him for making a casual play against you. Another thing a lot of overconfident players who use the piece controlling playstyle like to do is overdoing it. They tend to want to place every single build around their enemy even when their enemy is just staring at them or only trying to run out of the box one certain way. A thing I like to do and a lot of pros do is we like to build certain pieces in the same type of motion every time before pulling out our gun and shooting an opponent. Here's an example of me using this motion on a player in an arena game at the beginning of the season. So as you can see, I use this type of building motion after editing the ramp to place two back walls on my enemy, so if I don't one-pump them, they have nowhere to go behind them, or the side that is closest to them to get out of the box, and I can just use my AR to finish them off. Now luckily in this situation, I did hit the one pump, so there was no need to pull out my AR and start spraying, and it made the kill look very clean for my next montage. Now that is all I have for you guys today. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, drop a like, and if you want me to make another video explaining some techniques I use to piece control my enemies in actual fights, just go into the comment section and tell me you want me to make another video. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and I'm out. Thank you.